Hello everybody, Liz and Busty here again with, I guess at this point, my not-so-daily match. So yeah, if you even look at the video log, you can tell I haven't been doing these daily. That's sort of just not really been working out for me. It turns out when you don't do something full-time, and especially when esports as a hobby, you also don't even do casting full-time in regards to esports, it's pretty hard to do something every day. That's a pretty shitty excuse though, so what's happened now is that I couldn't find a specific time where I actually had enough quiet to do these videos. I sort of have found a time now, so I'm going to be recording these in the morning and uploading them in the afternoon, and that should make these more consistent. My aim now is going to be to do these weekdays, so 5 days a week, probably 5 days a week. I might have to end up doing 4 because I'm not sure how my schedule is Fridays. So, hopefully now I can actually get to doing these daily in the way I wanted to. So yeah, this should be up this evening, and hopefully I will be casting more. Some other things I've been doing, like I said, I don't actually just do casting for Firefall PvP. Limelight Esports is going to be announcing some cool new stuff in the very near future, and it's going to be epic. And I have to admit that's been taking up a lot of my time as well. But that's not important. What's important is the match we have here today, which is game number 2 between PvEsports and Dark Hour. So if we remember game 1, and you'll have to remember it because I casted that a while ago, PvEsports actually won over Dark Hour by just outplaying them in a few of these key fights. The Dreadnought actually was extremely important for that, so we can see it again today. PvEsports running that Dreadnought that Dark Hour isn't running, and last time that gave them the edge. This time they actually have a recon as well, but we're still in the waiting for player stage, so they might still switch that up. So we're just going to get this started right now. So we are on the waiting for player stage, which means we can expect team comps to maybe change still a little bit, but the match has begun now, and PvEsports is switching that recon to an assault, so doing exactly what we expected them to, exactly what they did last game. Both teams moving out in similar fashion. Dark Hour taking this high ground position here. Like I said, I kind of prefer the blue spawn on this map because you do have this high ground. But PvEsports immediately responding by pushing up on this high ground as well. We can already see here that that's a tough position for them to hold. Actually, Dark Hour taking a lot of damage. They're running the 3 biotech comps, so they should be able to heal that. But Famine is extremely low, now finally getting healed. So in this kind of extended harass phase, where both sides are taking and dealing a lot of damage, Dark Hour is going to get the edge because they have a 3rd biotech, and they actually take out Tilter, and this is going to be their cue to move in. The revive actually goes off on Tilter. No, does not. Tilter actually gets executed before that Thunderdome can go off, and A-Stars is cut out of position. He does get Storlish, but one of those biotechs is running triage, so Storlish is just going to go right back up, and A-Stars died for nothing. Durdad now extremely low as well, going down as well. PvEsports just falling apart here. Dark Hour just doing these engagements better. PvEsports having been caught out at least 3 times now. All 3 of those kills happening in that fashion. PvEsports now looking to regroup and hopefully avoid that happening again. PvEsports did win the last game, but it was a close one. It's not like PvEsports is that much better than Dark Hour. So the PvEsports is not in a situation where they can just say, let's run at it and kill them. They have actually switched back to that recon now, so I guess Tilter, following his own personal preference here, it seems that they think they can gain some advantage on these high ground ledges using the recon, but it is going to cost them a lot in direct fights. And at this point, they've actually given up the Dreadnought for that. So the Dreadnought being so important last time, we're going to have to see if that works for them. Your Dad getting caught out. Your Dad goes down. And it looks like we're going to have a repeat of last fight. A-Stars is down 2. There's no assaults left on Team PvEsports. It's just recons and biotechs. The triage goes off on your dad, but Fumes goes down because so much time was just taken on that triage. Remember, when you're triaging, you're not shooting. That is DPS that just gets lost. Alondra now going down, and Dark Hour is just taking these people out one after the other. Storlish does go down here. You can see where that happened. So Storlish going down here in the corner, but at the same time Dark Hour coming out way ahead in this engagement. Both sides regrouping one more time. Tilter here trying to get some pot shots off. We're just going to watch him because he's the most likely place for the fight to start. I do believe getting a hit or 2 off unwarped. But as you can see, this recon up on the high ground has actually forced Dark Hour to give up this high ground position. So it does have its benefit. But the question is, does this benefit of positioning outweigh the benefit that Dark Hour gains from having more straight-up combat ability? Stoilish actually getting picked off again. Stoilish getting picked off a lot in these fights. But A-Stars overextends just a little bit trying to get Stoilish. Gets extremely low. Vantau goes down in the front while Alondar is busy healing A-Stars. And we have a little bit of a chase going on here. T2 is extremely low, getting chased by Alondar, Your Dad, and Fumes. And Famine and T2 both go down. No, T2 survives, but Warp goes down. And it looks like this fight is going to go heavily in the favor of PvEsports. Execute's going down now, Heal's going off. PvEsports looking to be at full health again. And they've actually equalized the score. So a protracted engagement that didn't go so well for Dark Hour here. Putting PvEsports back on the board. Now we have Dark Hour sitting in this very defensible spawn location. Stoilish heading off to a flank, looking to make something happen. I'm not sure if I like this. I've said it before, the blue side spawn is very defensible. So PvEsports is doing the right thing here and not trying to engage into this. Yet at the same time, Stoilish is using a lot of harass by trying to engage out of it. So I think PvEsports has shown itself to be not that patient. I think if Dark Hour waits here for long enough, PvEsports will go in. Now, like I said, I have actually casted this match before, so I know how this is going to end. But it's been a while, so I don't know if they're going to engage in here or if Dark Hour is going to make a move. And I really think for Dark Hour's sake, they need to wait for PvEsports to actually engage on this. And Dark Hour does have the benefit of patience because they do have the 3 biotechs. Although I guess it is worth noting that PvEsports does have a recon, so they could potentially get a pick off here and then engage. But like I said, even if a pick happens, Stoilish is actually running... No, someone is running a flank. T2 is actually running the mega flank. Usually Stoilish is the one running the flanks. My bad on that. So mega flank going on here. Dark Hour engaging from all sides. Tilter being forced out of position by that flank. Alondar getting bursted down from behind immediately. This is going heavily in the favor of Dark Hour, but Stoilish is already down. Yurdad is going to take the fall though too. T2 is down, but the triage has gone off on Stoilish, so Stoilish is back up. Fumes and A-Stars are down. Alondar is down, and this is a wipe in favor of Dark Hour. Tilter, the last surviving member of the team, retreats immediately to spawn. Doesn't have much further he can run, but Dark Hour is going to be content to just sit back here because PvEsports is going to respawn and you don't want to be caught in front of the opponent's spawn. Oh, I almost thought there was going to be a headshot going off on Stoilish there. Never mind on that. Tilter just covering these alleys. Dark Hour, though, going to wait in the center. No, Stoilish going to push forward. Burns the Afterburner and gets away. I think this is a bit of over-aggressive play from Stoilish. We've seen him sort of get picked off and killed multiple times in these matches. And although the assault is fast, it doesn't have a lot of HP, so... Firefall currently in sort of a defensive meta. Famine, very pick-offable by the biotech right now. A lot of damage going on. This might be PvEsports' cue to engage, but Dark Hour does have so many recons, so they're going to be healed up again momentarily. PvEsports looks like they didn't feel like that was a big enough advantage for them to actually engage. So Tilter going to continue getting the picks off here. Actually, a little bit of a fight happening here. T2 and Stoilish poking forward, trying to lay down some damage. But the poison shot goes off, and they are going to pull back. The biotechs continue to occupy this high ground here, trying to poke at Tilter, keep Tilter from getting some good aim off, and Tilter actually gets bursted by everybody at once. So this is either going to tie up a biotech for the revive, or it's going to take out Tilter, meaning this is Dark Hour's chance to engage. Tilter is dead. Your Dad is fairly low, being chased by T2, Vantau, and Warp. Your Dad goes down. Stoilish is low, but not dead. Alondar is extremely low, going to go down. Famine is going to get picked off next. Remember, these guys are target firing over TeamSpeak. A-Star is going to go down, and Dark Hour is going to get off another wipe in this engagement. So PvEsports now once again grouping up in spawn. Not much happening. All these little lulls in the action as teams regroup. They have decided to change up their team comp once again. They're now running 3 Assault 2 Biotech versus 2 Assault 3 Biotech. So we're going to see how that works out in their favor. Didn't manage to get this high ground position. They do lose that advantage of the recon to actually gain them high ground control. But it looks like they're looking to push in from a flank here. A-Stars sees the other people, goes, nope, not doing that, leaves again. But T2 pushing out a little bit, potentially overextending. Unite is going to go in for the kill here, but immediately the heals fly out from Dark Hour, and this is going to be a fairly standard fight here. Your Dad and A-Stars immediately go down. Remember, they engaged into Dark Hour, so that puts them at a disadvantage. T2 goes down, but at the cost of 2 assaults from Team PvEsports. Fumes goes down while Alondar is rezzing Your Dad, and Your Dad goes down again right away. Reviving actually being a mixed strategy in this game. I mean, at first glance, everyone thinks, oh, revive, that's great. But the problem is it ties up one of your biotechs, and especially when your biotech is tied up like that, you've still got an assault down, you've got a biotech tied up, so at most you have 3 people. And if you're only running 2 biotechs, the other biotech isn't getting any heals. So you can see how that sort of worked against PvEsports. Tilter now getting extremely low as well, doesn't go down. Dark Hour's been caught in this narrow little choke. They're going to take a lot of harass and a lot of downwind fire. Your Dad is running Dreadnought again, so in this small choke area, this is really not a place that Dark Hour wants to be. So PvEsports successfully pushing forward, Tilter going after Famine. Let's watch that because we have a small lull in the action. And Famine is going to go down. Not a surprise there, this is an assault against the biotech. And PvEsports now occupying the center of the map. They're going to push straight forward into the spawn. I can see why they would want to do this. Their position in the low ground wasn't really beneficial towards them. And Dark Hour is a little bit disorganized. Solish and Vantau both immediately out of the fight. Yeah, I think this is going to be a little bit of a spawn camp, very briefly. I think Dark Hour is going to have to sit and spawn and collect themselves, because they kind of lose the defender's advantage of the spawn area when there's only 2 of them out at a time. And we do see them group up now. Let's see Storlish over here, bouncing around a little bit. And it looks like they are almost all up. I think they might actually all be up, but we just have glitched UI. Yes, we do. So they're actually going to go out from the low ground. Tilter sees them, though, so I'm not sure how good of an idea this is. Low ground is a much less defensible position. Remember that assaults benefit so much from being above their targets because they can shoot down with AoE. And yeah, Tilter actually tries to run a flank and it fails. And I think this could be the deciding factor in this fight. That assault was important for PvEsports. But Storlish is extremely low and is going to get picked off on the side. Really an awkward fight here happening in this hallway. Alondar gets the revive off on Tilter. But fortunately for Dark Hour, they find themselves in this more defensible high ground position once again. So you have the fight going on up here now, and this is, I think, where the defender's advantage sort of comes in. Vantau overextends a little bit and goes down. But there's a limit to how much PvEsports can actually do here. The revives are just going to go off. This ramp is a bigger and more important shield than you would ever think, just because it takes so much jet energy to get over it. So Dark Hour are going to, after the revive, push forward into the middle of the map here. And we're going to have to see if this works out in their favor. A-Star's getting shot down by Stolish and worked. But Your Dad is coming up here now. The revives are going off for PvEsports. This is a really close fight. Tilter is extremely low, falling back a little bit though. Storlish going after Tilter. It looks like he's going to get the shots off that he needs to. An attempt at a revive going down, and I believe it costs Alondar his life. Fumes, extremely low, has no other biotech to heal him, so the heals are going to end here for the biotechs, and this is going to be the slow collapse of PvEsports. I think this is the real benefit of the 3 biotech comp. What happens with 2 biotechs is that you lose 1 biotech, and then the other gets no heals, and you lose the other biotech, and then the heals are gone. 3 biotechs, you can afford to use 1 to revive, you can afford to have 1 go down temporarily, or to just die completely. But PvEsports really getting the short end of the exchange here, and Dark Hour is now 1 kill away from winning this game, and that's a nearly impossible situation. I mean, no matter how well you fight, it's extremely hard to win without losing a player, especially when you get 2 full team wipes. You're going to get 2 full team wipes while the other team can't pick off a single person, and that's probably not going to happen. So in a moment here, we're going to see Dark Hour move in, and we're going to see the last engagement of this game. T2 actually pushing forward immediately. I'm almost tempted to say that Dark Hour should just go for it. But of course, being risky and being rash in this game is never beneficial for you. This is a very slow, turtley game right now in TDM. But it looks like Storlish is going to spot A-Stars up there, and that is going to cost A-Stars his life, and that's going to be GG. So a very nice game going on here between PvEsports and Dark Hour. PvEsports moving away from the Dreadnought composition for most of that match, opting for a recon instead. I don't think that worked out for them too well. They did gain the sort of the high ground advantage, but the moment you lose the assault or the biotech, the high ground advantage might help you start a fight, but you're at a disadvantage in the fight anyway because you're running a recon on the rig. And there's just too many obstacles, too much vertical space for recons to be that effective there. So I think, I don't really think the recon was worth it. But I think there was also a lot of catching people out, a lot of team cohesion that was going on. I mean, both these teams have that problem occasionally. Stoilish, notably on Dark Hour, has a tendency to be very aggressive. But Ace Stars, and I believe your dad, getting caught out multiple occasions in the early game, and those fights sort of snowballed, those picks sort of snowballed into the fights that gave Dark Hour the lead in this game. And through solid play on both sides, but especially on Dark Hour's side, they were able to maintain that lead and take this series to a Game 3, which I will be casting tomorrow. And I will see you guys then.